slight adjustment for Czechia. This big line has taken Adam Zalewski off it and moved on Jakub Stanchel. Trying to spread the offense around a little bit. But Petter and Shala are the two guys that drive the offense for this Czech team as the puck skips by Junkari and back to center ice. And this is Aaron Kiviharju. Kiviharju has been terrific in this tournament. The 16-year-old defenseman, not eligible for the draft until 2024. Leads their team in points and has been a wait. Well, Deep have been sitting there for 3 hours.
Well, it's interesting as these teams will play again in November, and they'll play in February in preparation for the IIHF U18 championship next April. So coaches are going to have this group of players testing them out, seeing who plays well with one another.
Kasper Halttunen swings that back. That long shot tipped wide. It's been a disappointing tournament for Halttunen, who is rated as one of the top prospects for the upcoming NHL draft. It just hasn't gone for him. He scored a power play goal against Czechia in that first meeting. Hasn't scored since. Shala works in. Shala holds it back in front. Oh, what a stop there by Vinny. Point blank on Jakub Stanchel. Dvorak back forth to this top line once again, pressuring for Czechia.
Shala and Petter seem to be
what the Czechs haven't had in international hockey at the senior men's level is a dominant goaltender. They have not had a goaltender who could steal them games like other countries have had. I mean, not since Hasek.
I mean, we're talking that Hasek, one of the greatest goaltenders ever.
Right. But even
but you can't measure the other goaltenders up to Hasek. But to your point, Gord, like to have goaltending that can, get you on the right side of a game that maybe, it's tight or, you haven't been able to, really generate a lot, but your goaltender keeps you in it. That's what they've lacked.
Shot fired wide by actually, Germany has had goaltending like that. Certainly the Finns have had that in World Championship level games and the Olympics.
When you think about Peter Mrazek at the World Junior Tournament, and that's a number of years ago back in.
Feltzman scored that goal short-handed against the Swedes to cut the lead to 3-2. Halttunen works in. You just get the sense with Halttunen, Craig, that as Alessura tries to center it, that when things don't go your way early on, it can snowball. There's so much pressure on these players. There's so many scouts, GMs, player personnel directors here. And he's very competitive. You can see that in him. But right from the hop, he got frustrated. Slamming his stick on the ice, slamming doors at the bench.
Well, and then you try to do too much, right? And you get out of your game. And I mean, we see that happen at the National Hockey League level. Now you're talking about younger players, as you point out, the different pressures and the spotlight.
Here he comes now. Halttunen shoots. He could really rip it.
Work with him. He's a young goaltender. These are things that, you work with. I call them developmental weaknesses, but it's clearly a weakness. You got to work on it.
Back comes Zalewski the other way with Feltzman. That centering pass. Feltzman throws it back across and just missed the pass for Sprinar. Halttunen with it. He's poked check to the place off. Kiviharju. Centering pass cut by Halttunen all the way back down the ice. Inside 2.5 to go here in the opening period. The bronze medal game between Finland and Czechia. First ever medal round meeting between these two countries. Kiviharju back with it. Look out that pass. Misfired a bit. Halttunen picks it up. Kasper Halttunen. 6'2", 210-pound winger. To the puck there, and Shabby comes in with it.
Well, we were talking about Halttunen earlier, too, and the spotlight that's on you in your draft here. I mean, I talked about in the NHL, you get players that sometimes try to do too much when things aren't going their way. So you got a younger player, would be even probably more so as you're trying to impress.
You knock that free. Kupalainen spins and shoots. It goes off a leg, and the loose puck picked up by Šimek.
But understanding where a player is at, watching for progression in his game over the course of the season, finds that space, and that space is his. All the things that you want in a top-end offensive player, Edward Shala possesses.
Stanchel works in. The teams begin this period 5-on-5, and Stanchel shot kicked away by Emil Vinny. It's the bronze medal game. Later to come, the gold medal game between Canada and Sweden at 4 o'clock local time, 6 o'clock Eastern. Canada did not play in this tournament last year. There was no tournament in 2020 due to COVID. as Järventie works in. And he's poke check there. And a good defensive play by Matejček. Petter slides it back in front for Shala. And that's swept away by Vinny. Petter plays that back. Dominic Petter plays his hockey in Finland. Tries to slide that back across to Shala. Shala winds back in, gets loose, holds and shoots. That's blocked. And the bouncing puck goes to Järventie, and racing back is Badinka as Järventie moves in. Järventie tried to slide that back across, and Badinka makes a good play to knock that away. Badinka works in. Being backed up there by Fabry. And now a broken stick for the forward, Järventie. As Holtchak shoots, it goes off the side of the goal. And picked up there by Muhonen. Muhonen plays it back to center ice, picked up there by Halttunen. Now a centering pass. Halttunen missed on that. It's dropped back. Niemi had that blocked by Adamek. Holtchak leaves it there for Kalle Kangas, and Kangas swings back.
Occurs in early September, which is really kind of a preseason, November, February. And that's where they shut down their leagues, and everybody at all levels goes and participates in international competition.
Christmas too? I think there's
and Christmas as well, yes, sorry.
That's the fourth.
Yeah, that.
That pass gets by Muhonen and back down to the finish zone.
U17, U18, U20, national teams.
Halttunen up for Järventie. Järventie moves up for Halttunen, moves in, slides it back across, he scores!
I mean, he's a handful, and when he gets that puck, he's really hard to deter, and he makes a nice little pass across the more times than not. They do exactly that. They learn and grow from it.
There's a steal and almost poked home by Alasura. There's the second part of the equation is development.
Oh.
Lots of teams draft players, put them in bad positions, maybe put them in the NHL too soon.
You can scout great, and if your development is poor, it's going to be a failure. And you can develop great, and you can scout poor, you know, and you need to know exactly what you're looking for and what you're trying to do, and then understand what you have and work with the players. And I talked about it earlier, spending time with the coaches. How does a player take coaching? You know, where does he take input and direction?
Halttunen winds in. In comes Halttunen, moves around Stansel. Plays that back to Väisänen. Väisänen winds in, has a lane and shoots, and a pad save made by Rabel. Volkvest got knocked around by Halttunen, who skated right through him.
I mean, let's talk about Al Murray, who's got an exemplary record.
Now a chance for Shala working in. That's poke checked away by Kangas.
In the 2012 draft, at 10th overall, they took Slater Kuku, a very promising young player. At 19, they took Vasilevsky.
Right. In comes Dominic Petter. Petter works it back in front. That backhand shot turned away.
If they knew what and they believed in Vasilevsky, don't get me wrong, but if they knew.
Off the face-off, here's Dvorak poking it ahead. Jakub Dvorak gonna move that down to Kuchera. Canada's Scott Ratzlaff has been otherworldly so far in the tournament.
Yes, he has been.
His bid for a third consecutive shutout was spoiled with 18 seconds left in the semifinal by Finland. Alasura, the man who spoiled it. Oh, look at that, between the legs. Goes.
Good read by Rabel.
Halttunen races to the loose puck, pokes it back behind the goal. Järventie looking for it. Järventie's older brother Roby is an Ottawa Senators prospect and one they really like. Been playing in Belleville in the American Hockey League.
He'll be at the World Junior Tournament.
Oh, big hit there is pinning by unit. Kivaharju's out there now. Takes the pass from Halttunen. Kivaharju centers it. The pass got away from Yrinen. Halttunen works it back to Järventie. Crisscrossing with Kivaharju. Kivaharju back to Järventie. Järventie back down the centering pass. That's tapped wide by Urnen. They had it set right up. Urnen missed the net. Kiviharju works back in and holds. Feeds across. Järventie tries to swing that back across, but getting a stick on that was Kuchera. Järventie. Kiviharju back to Järventie. Shoots, hit a leg in front, still loose. Urnen reaching for it. And Ravel down. Swept the puck away. Now Halttunen back with it. Halttunen. Back to Kiviharju. Kiviharju. Being watched there by Sprinar. Kiviharju works it and fires. That's through the period. So the Finns have a 2-1 lead heading into the third period. The teams are 5-on-5. The first ever medal round meeting between these two countries at this tournament. Czechs won the tournament in 2016. You mentioned that Martin Necas, the terrific Carolina Hurricane, was the captain of that team. Czechs won back-to-back gold medals at the World Junior in 2000 and 2001. Tries to pull that free, and Järventie plays that back. Lahonen plays it back in. Dvorak back to pick it up. Jakub Dvorak fans on that pass, gathers it back up. Brings it around for Adamek, but it's picked off by Alasura. Feltzman works in. Try to center it now. Matejchik with a shot.